What's up everybody, welcome to money management channel. My name is Andy and today I'm gonna be doing an update on MMTLP and FINRA saga.
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up.
And for today's video, guys, I have several extremely interesting and important news. First of all, I will show you a real bombshell of the investigation that potentially might lead us to the conclusion that everything was settled back in the days for MMTLP without authorities, and it was all the settlement on MMTLP shares were made directly in between broker dealers. And this information needs to be investigated even further, and it needs to be used in our litigations. On top of that, guys, I will show you that we have not 10, not 9, not 11, but we have 13 lawsuits that are active right now, and I will show you this list in details within the next several minutes. And one more very important thing about the litigations, that one of the lawsuits that were filed as a pro-se lawsuit for now might have a support from another attorney that just recently won the case against the entire country. And guys, before we dive deep into all of this, please hit the like button for YouTube algorithm and drop me a line in the comment section if you think my videos are valuable for you. So let's start with this news. Vendor reposted the tweet of due diligence, and due diligence made a very interesting investigation, and it is very thoroughly made, I would say. But this investigation needs to have even further actions. And let me show you this summary that was made by Vendor. And as you can see, John Burden reposted this tweet as well. So, let me quote you this in details. Non-witness news special report. You're not gonna believe this latest bombshell about MMTLP that's rocking the financial world. I've been digging into this whole mess with the Options Clearing Corporation OCC memos, which everyone thought was the smoking gun, proving that the NSCC was handling all MMTLP trades. But guess what? It's all been a huge mix-up. These memos, they are all about options contracts for MMAT1, not the actual MMTLP shares. After the Torchlight and Metamaterials merger, they created this weird hybrid called MMAT1 options, which would give you 50 shares of MMAT common stock and 100 shares of MMTLP if you exercise them. That's where folks got confused, thinking the NSCC was in on the action with the shares, but nope, it was just about settling those options. Now, before October the 12th of 2021, those options were settled in this super shady way, broker to broker, with no clear oversight. They literally were playing poker in the dark. You can't see if anyone's cheating. After that date, they could be settled through the NSCC, but it wasn't mandatory. That's saying you are allowed to use a life jacket, but you don't have to. Big difference, right? Here's the kicker. An investor talked to someone from the DTCC. Yeah, the big dogs is clearing. And they straight up told him that not a single MMTLP share went through their systems. And guys, this information was stated by due diligence, and it was him who talked to DTCC member, and this DTCC member told him exactly the same. So, everything was settled directly between brokers with zero transparency. It is a financial wild west out there, ripe for all sorts of shady business. But the real slap in the face, there hasn't been a single audit from FINRA, the SEC, or any of the big players to look into this mess. No one's checked if there are problem shares floating around or if there's been a funny business with naked shorting. We are all flying blind here. It's a wake-up call for investors. So we are left hanging, wondering if our investments are legit or if we've been played. It's high time someone step up. Maybe Dodge shines a light on this and gives us the transparency we deserve. The market needs to be fair, and we need to know our shares are real, not just IOUs in the some broker's back pocket. And guys, This is a very interesting investigation, I would say, and I highly encourage you to read this, all the details that was written by Due Diligence. And Due Diligence wrote this tweet, let me show you, just several hours ago, and he added all the memos, OCC memos, that were issued in the middle of 2021 and in October of 2021. And guys, I have to admit that on the one hand it is very important information, but on the other hand, guys, take a look right here. Do we have to rely on DOJ and Vivek Ramaswamy and Elon Musk? Or we can use this information in our current litigations, and this might be quite a wild card for us to have a huge step towards the resolution. What path do you prefer? I think it is quite obvious that we have to rely on ourselves, not on any other major authorities or any other new departments. And guys, yes, we still have all the chances to have a settlement through the, let's say, Congress path. But let me ask you just one question. Was this information known by Due Diligence 2 years ago, or even 1 year ago, or even 2 months ago? And if so, why didn't he disclose this information? And why didn't he address to some authorities in order to see some kind of response from them? I guess we have to do it, and if no one want to settle this, in this case, guys, we have to use the litigation path again. So about the litigations, let me show you that just recently I showed you a set of tweets that were written by your favorite SGM in regards to the unusual trading volume on several tickers, and these tickers were MMTLP, MMAT, MMATQ. And here's another quite interesting update. So he wrote this: once I have all the charts gathered, and this tweet was written by Daniel. Once I have all the charts gathered and do the comparative analysis, then I will be able to say beyond a reasonable doubt that what I know in my heart is true as written soon. Do you know what this community needs? More space calls. And definitely it is a joke, but I have to admit that Daniel will use this information in his litigation. On top of that, guys, the most important update from his site is this one. 8 hours ago he published this: qualified lawyer has entered the chart. And 4 hours ago he added, finding a lawyer with guts who isn't just an ambulance chaser has been tough, but we finally found one. A needle in a haystack, maybe even divine intervention. This guy sued Sweden and won. I am confident we are finally in a good place, or will be soon, MMTLP. So guys, I think for now it is another huge step towards the resolution, because at least in one case that was filed pro se, which means without any help of professional attorneys. For now we have a professional lawyer that has quite interesting history, that he won a lawsuit against the entire country. So time will tell what will be the next step, but let me show you further. Marcus reposted this tweet that was written by Daniel Spears, and she wrote, NBH wasn't just 1 year past due, they were a staggering 5 years past due on the UL payments, and Trevor wants to blame the university. Question, Trevor, what happens if you don't pay your rent for 5 years? It's called a deadbeat eviction. They signed a lease, they agreed to make specific payments, they didn't pay. Deadbeat eviction. And she refers to the tweet that was written by Samantha, and she wrote, wow, are things at NextBridge Hydrocarbons worse than we thought? Were they really 5 years behind on royalties? And she added this screenshot that was written by Trevor the Fisherman, and the total amount owed is $1,144,780.09, and this amount should be paid by NextBridge Hydrocarbons for the university lands leases. But they didn't do this, and that is why, guys, in my opinion, this contract was terminated. and it is quite obvious that without the payments you will not have any type of goods. In this in our case it is the lease itself. And that is why, guys, I think we have even more questions to Greg McCabe, and unfortunately he doesn't want to answer any of them. So let me show you further. Wait a second, this tweet I covered just a couple of days ago, and let me show you. And this tweet is about the letter that was written by Scott, and then he mentioned about another case where NextBridge Hydrocarbons logo was used in, let's say, some joke manner. And let me quote you Carol Bergson. And Carol wrote, "Would the intimidation of McCabe's family warrant investigation? And your thoughts as to why it was not brought forward before the lease was turned?" And Scott responded, "Of course it would. You don't harm women and children, but I've yet to see McCabe under oath or anything, or the police complaints he filed. If you have them, I'd like to see them. Unless I see hard evidence this actually happened, I'm doubtful." McCabe allowed Plant to falsify well reports to the TRC, used promo materials for TRCH showing well drilling rigs that weren't his, on land he didn't own or lease, and called me a dark force, and compromised because I asked simple questions of his operations back in October. In terms of public trust from the non-brain dead, he has none. And guys, we still have a lot of questions to Greg, and unfortunately, guys, the situation is extremely shady, and we need these answers. And these answers might be received only through litigations, and that is why, guys, we have several lawsuits which are asking these questions. And let me show you some details about the number of lawsuits. Just yesterday I showed you the summary that was made by Junk Savvy, and for now we have the summary from Roman Soups. And I have to admit that I didn't know about a couple of lawsuits that were filed just recently. And let's start one by one. Here's the tweet that he published just less than 24 hours ago. He said, "My personal notes on legal cases, outstanding thread in comments. Case 1, Securities and Exchange Commission versus Burda, District Court, Texas." And guys, we knew about this lawsuit. It was filed, as you can see, at the end of June of 2024. Next one, case number 2, Intel Coastal Waterways versus Trade Station Securities. This case was filed by Mark Bastille's firm, and this case will be switched potentially to the class action lawsuit for the trade station holders, MMTLP holders only. Next one, Target versus NextBridge Hydrocarbons. This case was filed on September the 9th of this year, and we also know about this class action lawsuit. Next one, Trout versus Rubinstein, and definitely this case is quite famous because I covered it multiple times. And we also know about this, and it was filed at the end of July of 2024. Next one, Metamaterials bankruptcy case. Again, we know about this, but it is not directly related to MMTLP case. Nevertheless, it is in this list, and this is the case number 5. Next one, 1209 lawsuits. Brad Davis as a plaintiff, NextBridge Hydrocarbons, John Burda, and McCabe and others. And this case was filed, as you can see, on December 26th of this year. It was a first amended complaint filed. Next one, case number 7, Daniel Oxlo and Marcos Montero. The first amended complaint also filed at the very end of last year. Next one, case number 8, Albert versus Securities and Exchange Commission. And as you can see, on December the 9th, original complaint 12 months issues, waiting for proof of service, then defendants have 21 days to respond. May see amendment or action very soon. Next one, Peace versus Securities and Exchange Commission. And guys, this is quite interesting case because it was the first amended complaint was filed right after the statute of limitation, and I didn't know about this case. I guess it wasn't the same as other cases like this one, Wilcott versus Securities and Exchange Commission, and wait a second, Spears versus Securities and Exchange Commission and Vitrano versus Securities and Exchange Commission. And another case that was quite surprising for me is this one, Roll versus Securities and Exchange Commission. And we have basically a couple of cases that were filed after the statute of limitations expiration date. And we have to know more about this. And guys, as you can see, there is 13 cases with the case of Next Bridge Hydro, with the case of MMAT bankruptcy. But without this, we have 12 cases, and definitely it is quite an important number and quite severe number of lawsuits, and I have to admit that everyone might lead us to some important conclusions and some important results. That is why, guys, be patient and wait for more updates.
Let me tell you my personal story. I have a wife and 2 children aged 11 and 15, as well as a small dog. After 30 years of living in Russia near the Baikal Lake, we decided to move. Now we reside in Serbia. Although I don't own any MMTLP shares, I invest a lot of time creating daily MMTLP videos. I have been doing this every day without days off and holidays for more than 1.5 years. Now I wish to buy back this time from my family, from my children. We've agreed that I will ask the MMTLP community to support me, and I will give all the money to the children. Therefore, if you believe that I am providing useful content for you and wish to support me, you can join my Patreon account. For $5 a month, I will add your name to my list of supporters if you wish. Thank you in advance. The link you can find in the description below. So, I think that's all information that I want to provide you. If you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, and see you guys and girls next time. Bye!
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gone live it up on the attack. Baby, I'm bad, I just wanna get caught up in this life. I'm crazy, I'm mad, doing no cap. Only God wants you.